Page 28, phrasing in two. Here they're talking about a two-note slur. They have a blurb up above about phrasing. I don't really agree with what this book is saying about this type, I don't agree with their drop and roll thing, but we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about how I would prefer to think of it. You see these curved lines? We've had a curved line between two notes that ties them together. We've had a curved line over a musical sentence, that's a phrase. This is a two-note, and it's called a slur. This is the other thing this curved line can be used for. So it can be a tie, it can be a phrase, it can be a slur. And a slur can be more than just two notes. But a slur is not necessarily a musical sentence. A slur means you connect the notes. A phrase of a musical sentence, you don't necessarily have to connect all the notes in a phrase. But a slur, you do. Their technique on this drop roll thing, just take some notes, forget the music, just take some notes. And if I go here, down on the first note and up on the second, they're simply transferring away from one to the other and you're rolling over. Here. I'm exaggerating the move so you can see it more easily. I agree with transferring weight because I play with a weight control. I use the weight of the hands and arms to play the notes. I don't hold still and use the fingers to do it. But to me, it's just a down, up, down, up. And the transfer of weight is very slight. It's hardly noticeable. But I am, to a little bit, rolling, just only to transfer the weight. But to me, to think of rolling is confusing, so I just think down, up, down, up. Type thing. And here, they're going here. They're skipping a note, so you're taking 6 notes. And this way you can go up the keyboard, because then you're in this position, you just simply skip a note again. Between thumb and index finger going up, you skip a note. They're starting down here. This is from a Hanon studies book, and it's a good book to have. I mean, if you just like to play notes, this will work your fingers. It's a good book. I recommend you try it. It's the Hanon Studies. I have it someplace. I don't know where it's at. But it's something that I used to just play for fun. Not absolutely necessary. I prefer scales for this kind of thing, because you can do slurs and scales. Just fine. But these books, the Hanon Virtuosic Studies, whatever it's called, I can't think of the name right offhand. It's a good book to have. You can Google it. It's probably on my Amazon page somewhere if you search there too. If you can get to my Amazon page, it's not available to everybody in the world. I don't know what it is. There's a link to it in the description. That's really what this is. And both hands are playing octaves. So in the right hand, you're skipping going up. You're skipping between thumb and index. In the left hand, it's little finger and fourth finger. Now, if this is confusing you, forget the slurs and just get the notes. Both hands are playing on. You can go up. I mean, in the Hanon book, it like starts down here and it goes way up here. I mean, it goes 2-3 octaves up. I forget how many now, but it goes more than this book does. But here it's. So, I don't call this phrasing in twos. To me, a phrase is something else. It's a slur. Now, some teachers will teach on a two-note slur like this that you play the second note short. I say you disconnect it from the next note, but it's not necessarily short. has a staccato. Well, we haven't had that yet, so don't worry about it. So different teachers will teach us slightly differently. Now keep in mind, if you connect the notes in piano, it's called legato. It's another Italian word. If you separate the notes, it's called staccato. And you can have short staccatos, you can have long staccatos, you can have all kinds of staccatos. But those are your choices. It's either connected or it's not. Well, technically, if I separate two notes, the first, that's staccato. So if I separate these slurs, I am technically playing the second note staccato. I'm just not playing it short. I'm only playing it short enough to separate it for the next note. And I do that with the lift. This is the important part. You want to actually lift up. It's a very slight motion, but you do want to lift up here. You can't see it very well in the camera, but it's this. Bottom, bottom, bottom. Now this piece of, I don't know that, I guess we can do a play with me. We're doing it on all the others. It's just, this is pretty simple. You're starting this pattern and you're going all the way up to, look at the top of page 29. You're here, and then here. Now we're going to go back down. So now the right hand is going to separate between here, and the thumb is in the left hand. Until we get all the way down to the bottom, and then we end it up. So I'll go ahead and play this with you and have you play it with me if you want. It is repeated. I'm not going to bother to repeat this one. The repeat sign is important here. They're just repeating it to give you more exercise in doing it. This really isn't a musical piece per se. It's more like an exercise. I don't like exercises. So I'll give us 4 counts. So let's play this together slowly. 1, 2, ready, go.